Hey, this is Lillian Stevens again, and my intention for this YouTube channel that I have is basically to inspire you women and to inspire guys, to inspire anybody who needs inspiration. So who just needs a good word or something positive in their life. And actually this month is October month, so it's domestic violence month. So you guys know how dear that is to me. Those who know me and those who have watched my other YouTube, not YouTube, but other videos on Facebook or anywhere else. You know how dear it is for me, the domestic violence. And so this month we're gonna be having fun. I'm gonna be putting little things, little inspirations, and little kind of experience about domestic violence, because we never know who is going through domestic violence. You know, when you're in a domestic violence situation, you always hold like a happy face, because you don't want people to know what you're going through. And even if you want people to know about what you're going through, you're so scared about people's judgment or what people will say about you. And a lot of women, when you're in that situation, you're actually in denial. When I was in domestic abuse, I really did not even use that word domestic abuse. Just the word abuse was too strong when I was in that situation. You know, you feel like, oh my God, abuse. You think it's gonna put people in trouble. You think that because a lot of people, when they're in the domestic abuse situation, the words are just too strong. It's like you feel, and it is what it is, but you feel that most women in a domestic abuse situation, when you tell them you're being abused, their first reaction is kind of like, not really. He doesn't hit me. He's never hit me before. That is normally the first reaction. A lot of people think that domestic abuse is about hitting. It's not really about hitting only. It's mental. There's emotional abuse, there's financial abuse, there's physical abuse. So, and a lot of, especially us immigrants, we tend to think, okay, since he's not hitting me, and since he's not, he just shouts, it's normal. And one thing that I hate, and I'll say this because there's a lot of women who turn to other women, especially us from Africa. A woman comes to you and turns to you and tells you, hey, my husband is not buying food, or my husband, I don't work, I don't have green card, and I live with him, or my husband is cussing me every day. He's calling me ugly. He's calling me this. He's bringing another woman in the house. He's actually cheating, and all these things. And the first reaction is like, man, us Kenyan men, I mean, most Kenyan men are like that. I hate that, because that is not true. You're basically telling that woman she should take abuse. She should take emotional abuse, physical abuse, financial abuse. So a lot of us, when you hear abuse, and this kind of woman, when you come to them, and they come to you with a problem, they say, hey, I'm going through this kind of situation, and when she comes to you and your reaction is like that, she will fear to tell you anything, because she'll be like, oh my God, she's gonna think I'm not a good wife because her husband. And then a lot of them is like, you're around women whose husband already is belittling another woman. So you're around a woman women who their husband sleep out every day, they have another woman on the side, and then so how are you going to turn to that kind of a woman? You're gonna turn to that kind of you can't turn to that kind of a woman, because you'll be scared. You'll be like, man, she's gonna think I'm the one who is wrong. And I've had situations whereby women have come to me and they're telling me, yes, I have friends. And I did turn to them, and they just told me that no, that's not a bad situation. because you're turning into a woman who her situation is the same as yours. She cannot recognize what her situation is. She's not even recognizing that she's in a domestic abuse herself. So you're turning to the wrong person. So for me, if you're going through domestic abuse, and I will have to go through what domestic abuse is, because a lot of us hear domestic abuse and they go for physical. Especially as Africans, we go, oh, but he's not hitting me. That is always the first reaction. No, domestic abuse is not hitting you, especially when you're an immigrant in this country. Your husband is making your green card. A lot of them, you find that he's using that green card to control you. He's telling you, he's threatening you. You're living in limbo. You're walking in eggshells in the house. You can't say anything. It's like, I'm gonna cancel your green card, or I'm gonna cancel your work permit, or I'm not gonna file. I went through that for years. 6 years I stayed in the marriage. I was just like, oh my God. People asked me, you're educated. You went to college. You're a smart girl. Your parents, And people are asking me, hey, how did you stay in this kind of situation? How I stayed in that situation is that I come from Africa, and honestly, for me, I wanted this marriage to work because, of course, I didn't think it was abuse, because to me, we were all fighting. I was feeling like, okay, this is normal. It is normal. In Africa, you see a lot of that kind of thing going on. And my dad have had their own squabbles sometimes. But honestly, I just kind of thought everything was normal. And then on top of that, I didn't think some of the things that was happening in my life was abuse. The reason why I didn't think they were abuse, because I felt like, okay, he's doing me a favor, And why should a husband be doing you a favor if he's doing your green card? He's the one. What? It's not a favor. That is a responsibility that comes with it. So a lot of women think he's doing me a favor because they do tell you they're doing you a favor, So since you believe this is a favor being done to you, you normally don't even tell anybody about, you don't even think that you're in an abusive situation. This guy tells you you're ugly, you're this, you're fat, you're dirty, you're everything that you can think about. Your self-esteem goes down. I remember my self-esteem was very, very, very low. And I remember one friend of mine came to visit me after 2 years, being in the United States. She arrived later, and she was like, Lillian, you've changed. I had changed. Everything they experienced, I had started feeling not pretty. And when I look at my pictures right now, if I look at the pictures where I felt the fattest and the ugliest, you can't compare it with now. I was slim. I was like, I think 40 pounds lighter than I am right now. And that's when I felt the fattest. I felt fat. I felt ugly. I felt everything. And that's why a lot of us really do not understand what abuse is. They think that whatever is happening to them is normal. And the reason why they think it's normal is because somebody else is going through that, and they're not saying anything. The people around you, they look happy, because a lot of people they hide what they're going through in the house. So you're hanging with friends like me. Honestly, a lot of the people that I was hanging with during the time that I was going through my abuse, a lot of them have separated. That means they had their problems, but nobody was showing me that they have their problems. So a lot of us assume that these people are happy, this person is happy. So you're thinking, I'm the only one who is miserable. I can't say my story out here, because if I say my story, they're going to judge me. But honestly, if you're out there, you're going through domestic abuse, and I'm not going to use, maybe I shouldn't even use that word. If your husband is hurting you emotionally, physically, all that, financially, holding things. And let me tell you, I was watching this show. What is that show called? Married at First Sight. One of the couples, they had a fight, and the guy says, I'm out. I remember the counselor came back and told him, if you ever say that word again, do not ever say that word again, I'm out, because you're putting insecurity in that life. And if you do not mean to leave, do not threaten with abuse, because now you're blackmailing her. You're telling her, if you do not act right, I'm gonna leave you. So those kind of words should not be said in marriages, you know, like in terms of I'm out. You know, the reason why my marriage right now is working, and honestly, my husband, it's not like we don't have fights. We do. But whenever we have those fights, my husband has never made me feel insecure in the marriage so much that when we have a bad, you know, like like we kind of collide, we have a disagreement, my mind doesn't go like he's gonna leave me, because he has never shown that. I remember the first time we had we kind of had a disagreement. In my mind, I was thinking, oh my God, this divorce. Oh, and I think I brought it up to my husband. I was kind of feeling like maybe he's gonna leave me. And guess what? He told me, how? How can I leave you? I love you. We're in this marriage together. This is us. You know, this is for forever. I took my vows. You have to have a man who gives you that confidence. And a lot of people who in domestic abuse situation, they're not given that confidence. Every day they're reminded that, hey, if you do something bad, you're going to leave. If you do something bad, I'm not gonna do. Let me tell you, my green card was the green card situation was dangled on my face every day. That means 1 minute people ask me, how could you say 6 years and you know, he wasn't. First of all, we had a child, and having a child, you kind of get scared, especially if you're a foreigner. You know, you think, okay, how am I gonna go back to Africa and leave my kid? Because he's telling you ain't going with my kid. So you're not living with the kid, and you're like, man, I'm not leaving my kid. So you stay in the marriage, you keep trying. Then another reason why I stayed was that we had those moments of they call it honeymoon period. 1 minute we are together, we are having fun, you know, and everything, but the next minute it's war. So it's like when the honeymoon period is there, it is so much fun, and then it would go on for like a month, and he said, oh, I'll do your green card and everything, and I'm like, okay, this time my husband is gonna make my green card, and I'm thinking to myself, okay. And then something happens. Oh, you, with that big headed and the way you're replying me, I don't even think this is gonna work. I ain't doing your green card. So now I've already spent 1 month, 3 months waiting for that green card. Or he'll come up with a situation and say, hey, well, I'm not doing this green card because your actions, you know, you're treating me badly. I don't think I need to be in this green card. There's so many women actually, and I've talked to a lot of women, believe me when I say this, who their husband is holding them hostage with that green card. They're holding them hostage. You filed, you know, the green card takes a long time. So it's like you have to get the temporary work permit, then you have to get the 2-year, and then you have to get the 10-year. So you're stuck. A lot of women feel stuck. But I want to tell you, and I'll be saying it in my videos, how if you're going through that and you're married legally, and you're married and you're going through those kind of situations, I'm going to be discussing that this month. That it's okay to let go. But remember, you can't let go and still want to do the same things. You have to get out of the box. This is a country that has set up things that can help women like us. This is not Kenya, this is not Tanzania, this is not Uganda. So this country has already seen, remember, this is a country of immigrants. That means immigrants have come to this country for years, and people have done what you guys are going through for years. So there's things that have been set up to help people like you. So sometimes it's okay to get out of the group, because you know, when us Kenyans, we are here, we tend to hang around the same people. We hang around our African friends, and like I said, it's not bad to hang around. They support you when your mom dies or anything happens to you. Yes, they'll be there for you. But at the same time, you're suffering here. So you can be with them, but at the same time, find support that's not actually, that's outside of your community. That means you try and get, because you try and maybe get to domestic abuse, find it online, you know, like there's a national hotline for domestic violence. You just find that you find it on Google, and those people are not like us back home, where you tell your story and your story is going to go anywhere, or where you tell you go to a police officer in Kenya, and the next thing that police officer tells his wife, and the next thing your fight, even though it was supposed to be secret and nobody knew about it, everybody knows about it. But the domestic violence, there's that privacy that you will actually get with it. You can say your story and they don't judge you based on, because you're feeling like I'm illegal, that's what you're gonna feel like, I'm illegal, or I'm this, and they're gonna judge me. No, that has nothing. If you don't have green card, and maybe you don't even have a situation for green card, let's say your husband is not even fixing your green card, but you're in an abusive situation, they will help you even if you're illegal. Even if you've been in this country 20 years illegally, and you're in a situation, they will help you. That's what people don't realize when it comes to domestic abuse. And I'll be discussing situations like that, because a lot of people, until you go through this, whether it's in Kenya or anywhere, until you've been through domestic abuse, you understand, you will not understand how hard it is for people to turn to organizations. First of all, there's that fear. First of all, there's that, but I'm telling you today that you do not need to be scared. You do not need to be scared about turning to organizations, Catholic charities and all that. You can tell your story. I remember the way I got my help is one day I went and told a stranger. I mean, everybody knew what I'd been going through. I'd been up and down, back and forth, whatever. But then finally, when I kind of went out of it and went out completely and turned to an organization and told, actually, when I was telling this lady the story, I didn't care. I was like, okay, let me just say my story. And I cried, and she cried. That's when I realized, the way she looked at me, that I could be helped. She's the one who called the shelter for me and told the shelter that I needed. And even when they told me to go to the shelter, I was still scared to go to the shelter, because I was still feeling like, man, I was still tied to the knot to my husband. I was still thinking that even though I'd been with him 6 years and he hadn't done my papers, I felt like still he's the only one who could do it, because he had made me believe there's no other way out. And in my small world, I still believe that there's no other way out, because I knew very little, and the people around me made me feel that hey, that is the only way, and a lot of them didn't even know what I was going through, because every time ask people who are going through abuse, people who go through abuse, we tend to smile a lot, laugh, we just let we do not say our whole story, and some of them hide it with drinking, hide it with laughing a lot, hide it with, so there's a lot of pain that's out there. But me, I know that the happiest person, the saddest, the happiest looking couple could be the couple that's really going through a lot of fights. Some of the people that I see now that divorced or went through all that abuse situation that later on after me, those were the happiest looking couple to me. And even us, out there, everybody liked me, and we were just, I was dancing, liked everything. So everybody was just like, man, those two are happy couple. So I mastered up that. So this month, really, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, because this month I'll really be talking about situations, especially if you're a Kenyan or just from another country. Tune into my YouTube channel and you're gonna learn a lot, because even if you're going to learn, either not for yourself, but for somebody else. Because a lot of us, if you've not been through abuse, and there's many who have not been through abuse, they don't know what abuse is. So, but they have friends turning to them. So if you want to learn how to help your friend, and please turn to my YouTube channel. Otherwise, this is your sister, your friend, Lillian Stevens, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So anytime my video, I put a new video, it alerts you that I have a new video, so that way you know. Otherwise, thank you, and you have a good day, and have a happy October month. And remember, and I need to be having this number every time, National Domestic Violence hotline. It's a good number for you to always keep, and even if you don't keep it, I'll also be teaching you how you can hide, because a lot of women, their husband check their phones, I'll tell you how to kind of hide all those things. The reason it's not about